On one hand, I'm surprised that barely anyone is talking about this, but at the same time, I don't blame them. So a few months now, Marvel has revealed that there's going to be yet another Thor around Marvel Comics, and it is of course going to be War Thor. And much like how they did with Jane Foster, they will be doing yet another storyline in which revolves around the mystery behind War Thor's identity. And since nobody is really making videos about this, and honestly I don't really blame them to be honest, and also because I have fuck all to talk about, I might as well give my 2 cents and talk about several potential possibilities on who War Thor could be. Most obvious of which is of course Odin, and quite possibly the most likely out of the bunch. As when you really stop and think about it, War Thor and Odin look quite similar in terms of their physical features. They're both Asgardians, they also have similar beards, but the most noteworthy thing about this is the fact that both Odin's as well as War Thor's left eyes are actually covered. But that being said though, there are potential other characters who could possibly be War Thor, such as Nick Fury Sr., as the last time we saw this character was in Original Sin, which not only was it being the exact same storyline in which Nick Fury was the one who made the original Thor Odinson unworthy in the first place, but right after it was revealed that Nick Fury was the one who killed Uatu the Watcher, Nick Fury Sr. had to pay the price by becoming the Unseen. Which in a similar fashion to the Watchers, all Nick Fury Sr. could do is watch and never intervene. Now why I think Nick Fury Sr. is possible, because since after the events of Original Sin, we haven't seen this character ever since. And also the Marvel Universe as we know it has changed drastically ever since Secret Wars. And in his unseen form, we can clearly see that one of his eyes is also very closed. And it's also at the same position as War Thor's. Now another possibility on who War Thor could possibly be is of course Ultimate Thor Odinson. Now this one is a bit of a stretch, but I feel like it could possibly be Ultimate Thor Odinson because as you see, War Thor is wielding the Ultimate Mjolnir. And the last time we actually saw Ultimate Thor in the comics, which is the ultimate storyline called Catalysm, where the original Galactus comes to the Ultimate Universe and threatens to destroy it. And in the end, Ultimate Thor decides to sacrifice himself by going into the Black Void alongside Galactus, and clearly Galactus is still around in the main continuity, and if we're going by that logic, then I'm pretty certain that Ultimate Thor could still be around somewhere. And then after that, during Secret Wars, it was revealed that Ultimate Thor was actually in the Thor Corps. But not only that though, he actually does wield the Ultimate Mjolnir again, which was also the original make. And clearly Ultimate Mjolnir is in the mainstream continuity, so to me it makes perfect sense if Ultimate Thor is also still around somewhere in the main continuity. Now what kind of dampens this theory is of course the fact that War Thor looks absolutely nothing like Ultimate Thor. However, there's also Jimmy Hudson, who is also from the Ultimate Universe, who also got brought in to the mainstream continuity. And when you look at Jimmy Hudson, who is now converted into the 616 universe, he looks absolutely nothing like the one from the Ultimates, despite the fact that this is the exact same character. So I do have a feeling that this could be the similar case with Ultimate Thor, and in some way, shape or form, he sort of aged rapidly and then all of a sudden he has rediscovered his Ultimate Mjolnir. Now the next possibility, and also quite possibly the least likely of the bunch, is of course Eric Masterson. Now as far as I'm aware, Eric Masterson or Thunderstrike is dead in the main 616 universe. However, my theory for this possibly being Thunderstrike is the fact that he's possibly somehow revived and somehow he is slowly decaying, and the only thing that's keeping him still stable is the Ultimate Mjolnir. And also considering that Thunderstrike is an edgier version of Thor, I could imagine that War Thor could be a possible alias for him to take on. Now the only reason why I'm bringing them up in the first place is because Thunderstrike has been absent from the comics for so long, it seems like this is probably the best way to bring him back if Marvel really wanted to. Now another yet unlikely option is that War Thor could possibly be one of the dwarfs, or more specifically Adri the Dwarf King, because in some of the more recent incarnations of the character he is often seen as someone who is a lot more bulky as well as having a beard, and he is also capable of creating other hammers. However, what destroys this theory is the fact that when you see the final panel for the Unworthy Thor issue, you get to see War Thor before he lifts up Mjolnir. And as you see the silhouette, you can clearly tell that this guy is average sized. And if this was to be the Dwarf King, then he would obviously be a lot shorter. And also, if you look at the text, whenever War Thor speaks, he clearly has that distinctive Asgardian font, which in a way could rule out some of the previous entries. However, this could mislead us. Or another possibility is of course Heimdall. He has that similar beard despite the colouring, which I'll get into in just a sec, and not only that, his armoury looks quite similar. Plus, Heimdall to me strikes me as someone who would be worthy of wielding Mjolnir. Now, if this was the case and that Heimdall is in fact War Thor, why is his beard grey? Your guess is probably as good as mine, but I'm going to assume that if this is going to be the case, then this could be due to some sort of enchantment. And the final possibility I have is Donald Blake. Now ask yourself this question: when was the last time we actually saw Donald Blake in any of the Marvel comics? And how this entire Donald Blake Thor thing is now retconned as far as I'm aware. Now from what I know, Marvel's new initiative is going back to basics, but at the same time doing some new interesting ideas. So it wouldn't surprise me if Marvel decides to kinda do a homage to this by having Donald Blake become the new War Thor. Now again, talking about War Thor's identity is very broad, because we only really have this image to really talk about. Plus, I don't think War Thor has physically appeared in any of the comics as of yet. So before I'm gonna place any bets, I would have to see more of this character before I actually pinpoint on who I think it could be, but I'm only here to throw out some possible ideas. So who do you think War Thor could possibly be? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.